I was never able to forget anyone I've been with. Because each person has their own specific qualities. You can never replace anyone. What is lost is lost.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Film Bros Podcast. My name is Isaiah Lucas, and I am joined by my co-hosts,
Abraham
and Nick.
How y'all doing tonight?
I'm good.
Yeah, we're doing good, man.
We're doing good.
Yeah.
And we know you're doing good, too. Look at all this, dude. We got it's in the new year, so we had to update the pod a little bit. So we're back at it, but this time we got video.
I know.
I'm excited.
I'm
also
excited,
kind
too.
of nervous or shy.
Are you shy?
Yeah.
A little
Camera
bit.
shy a little bit?
Yeah, now they can see our...
Just act like it's not there.
our
It's so
faces
hard
now.
to. It's so hard not to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I assume anyone who has like a big YouTube career was shy at first, too.
yeah.
You know, but it is what it is, right?
But I'm excited. How's your guys' week? Or it just started, so how's your guys' day?
It was good. I mean, it was nice having a ton of time off and then
Mhm.
being able to just go back to work and get back in the swing of things. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
what about y'all?
Work for me was just the most normal day you could possibly get. It was honestly nothing good or bad happened, so
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
that's about it.
Well, that's good. Can't
I
complain
did
about
nothing.
that. Yeah, nice. The only thing you did today was watch this movie.
I watched this movie. Actually, I played a lot of Minecraft today.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
So, but I did that and just watched the movie. Mondays are usually my days off, so
Okay.
I like to just relax.
Movie day.
Nice. Well, I mean, let's get to talking about this movie that we picked. It's Abe. It was your pick, right?
Yeah, it was my pick. So, Nick last week had chose the movie Before Sunrise, which is a 3-movie series of the Before series. So I decided to choose Before Sunset.
Mhm.
It is directed by Richard Linklater, and it is written by him as well. Also, as well as Ethan Hawke and Julie, what's her name?
Julie Delpy.
Delpy, yeah.
Delpy.
I had... Go ahead. No, go ahead.
And it came out in 2004.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was funny because one of the facts last week was they had like rewritten a lot of the script together and were really upset that they weren't credited. So
Yeah.
they wanted to make sure that this time they had their credits in the
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, and they got it.
Yeah,
For
they
sure
got
they
it.
did.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I'm glad they got the recognition they deserve. So.
Yeah, same. Well, all right. I want to know right off the bat, how did you guys feel about this one compared to the first one?
I love this one. Before I think this one might be my favorite one
Really?
so far. Obviously, I haven't seen the third one,
Okay.
but I think I love this one more than the first one.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
I really enjoy this one way more than the first one.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you wouldn't be able to enjoy this as much if you didn't watch the first one.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. This one, you know how I was saying last week that I wanted this one to be better, and it so much was.
Yeah.
It had me full of surprises. It had me full of nostalgia for these characters.
Yes.
And it was almost like 9 years hadn't really passed.
Yeah.
Like, and we had the luxury of watching it only a week after.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine
Waiting
watching the first
9
one and
years.
then waiting 9 years and then watching this one.
Especially with how short this one is, too.
Yeah.
I was
Dude,
like, oh.
Yeah.
It felt to me. It felt like 45 minutes that I was watching this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Time flies whenever I'm watching this. It does not feel like an hour 17 or
No.
hour 20, however long it is.
No.
It's pretty like breakneck speed. There's no breaks, but it doesn't feel like, hard to watch because the entire time you've already built your, this, relationship up with these two characters.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like there's any work being done,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to talk about it with y'all, and I'm excited to see what you guys have to say
Yeah.
about it.
I'm
Alright.
excited.
All right. Well, Abe, you want to give us a little bit of a synopsis, and then we'll get into a spoiler warning and get into the categories?
Yeah. So a little bit about this movie is it is about our two characters, Jesse and Celine, eventually reconnecting 9 years later.
And not 6 months.
Not
like
6
they
months, like
promised.
they say, and it just goes from there. And then I don't want to get into too much detail,
Yeah.
but it is it's just them reconnecting, finally after such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So go check this movie out if you haven't. This is your spoiler warning. This movie contains a lot of spoilers if you're really invested into the relationship of Jesse and Celine.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't checked it out, go do so. I don't believe it's streaming anywhere,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
We got
right when we picked it, it was streaming somewhere, all 3 of them, and then
They took it off.
yeah, they took it off. So hopefully they'll pop up somewhere else soon.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it looks like you'll either have to rent it, or if you have it,
I think I actually might even buy this collection.
Yeah, I have this collection.
Yeah.
I mean, I told you guys the story. I randomly just bought it one day
Mhm.
because of the half off Criterion sale, and I'm glad I got it.
Yeah.
Because it's great.
Yeah,
I love every movie. So.
I don't think I would have ever touched this trilogy if it wasn't for you. So
Which I'm surprised because it's Ethan Hawke.
it is Ethan Hawke, and it's one of his greatest roles, in my opinion.
Better than Gattaca?
Oh, see, hold on, though. Hold on. I don't think better than Gattaca. I don't think so. I'm just gonna forever hold on to that for nostalgia's sake. But I'm glad you brought this into my life. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys are loving it, because as soon as I had watched the first one,
Mm-hmm.
I found myself in like the middle of the first one being like, wait, I love this. This is great. And so, and like I believe I said it in the last episode too. Like right after I watched the first one, I was like, I gotta watch the second one now. And then after I watched the second one, I was like, I gotta watch the third one now, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's great. So
That's how I felt watching this one.
Yeah.
I literally went into the living room and yelled, I need to watch the next one right now.
I immediately texted you guys. I said, "That's the ending? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are that's not enough? I want more."
yeah.
Before we even start, though, did you guys cry?
Yes.
I teared up. I teared up. I should say where I teared up, though. I teared up at the end.
I did as well.
Yeah.
I actually cried.
I
I
did.
had a tear come out.
I didn't cry, but I teared up. But I think it was for me, it was like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so wholesome.
Yeah.
This is so beautiful. And I was like, and then when she said those lines at the end, I said, no way. And then
Yeah.
just the credits show up. And I
Yeah.
said, I can't believe.
I teared
can't.
up very hard whenever she says, I want to try something. And he hugs and says, I want to see if you stay here, if you dissolve into molecules.
And then
Then she says, how am I doing? You're still here. Good.
I like it
I
here.
like it here. I was just like, dude, about to cry, dude. Like
So
tearing up
good.
so hard. And then I cried. Like I cried actually whenever she's doing the song.
she pulls out the guitar.
And you just see Ethan Hawke's reactions. They feel so genuine and so like so real time
Yeah.
that I'm like feeling those emotions with him. So the entire time I'm like happy crying a little bit.
Imagine if they actually didn't get to keep contact for 9 years until the next time in the movie.
Oh, like the actual actor and
Yeah.
actress?
That'd be wild.
That'd be wild.
That'd be wild.
Yeah.
That would
Be-
make the reactions more.
way more genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have some facts here actually that like talk about the film process of this movie and how it was made, and the whole entire production,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty interesting, honest. So I'm excited to get into the facts with this one and see what you guys think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But let's dive into the first category, right? Favorite scene. You
Favorite
want to start us
scene?
off?
Bring us
Mine's
in.
not until like quite in the middle of it, so I'll let you guys go if you guys have anything before.
Okay. I immediately start off with the
With the
intro.
introduction, yeah.
Yeah, it picks up literally like right where we left off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess you can't say like literally right where we left off.
9 years from where we
It's-
left off.
Yeah, and we see that Ethan Hawke's character Jesse has written a book about
Mhm.
that night in Vienna,
Mhm.
and I love how they reintroduce us to these characters, and they make it believable,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like they make it believable that Jesse wrote this book about this night and it became a bestseller, and now he's doing this world tour, and his last stop is in France, and while he's doing a little publicity tour for the book.
Signing all of the book.
Doing all this stuff, doing answering questions and all
Mhm.
that. Who shows up?
Celine.
Celine.
Of course it's Celine, man.
And this like causes him to like, lose his train of thought and just is kind of like, yeah, sorry, did I answer your question? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know exactly what I was going for here. And it also, even before that, shows us like little, flashbacks to the previous movies of like where they, that night and all that stuff. It's great. And I love the way that they reintroduce the characters and make them feel like no time has passed when in reality 9 years have passed in real time.
It's crazy because I kind of wanted it to be they met at that station again.
Oh,
Like
you
this-
wanted the
this,
6 months?
This isn't what. Yeah, this wasn't the intro I was expecting,
Mm-hmm.
and it threw me off. But I do like how they reintroduced them together.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it actually,
Yeah.
but I didn't expect it like this.
I didn't either. I honestly thought the 6 months was going to happen and then it fizzle out or something to that effect. I didn't think 9 years. I didn't think they would let 9 years pass.
Mm.
But I do appreciate that they brought it up and they're like, hey, where were you? Oh, I wasn't here for this. And actually leads into my favorite scene. I think that's when they start talking about, their time away from each other, right?
Yeah. Can I talk about one thing real quick?
Yeah.
In the bookstore though, I really like whenever one of the guys that asks him a question about his next book, and he starts talking about like, oh, I always wanted to write a book that took the place like within the space of a pop song.
Yeah.
But the entire like premise of this new book that he's working on, quote unquote, is like very telling of his current life situation. Like he's writing about having this character having a child, and that character didn't necessarily like want to do what it's doing in life. Like it has everything it needs, but it wanted to be in South America riding motorcycles and all this stuff, and he doesn't get to do that now because he has a kid, and he's obviously like has everything he needs, but it wasn't necessarily everything he wanted.
So it's like
what is it? Like it's a big metaphor for what he's currently going through, but he's writing a story about it with different characters and stuff.
Oh. That's pretty cool. He's using his life stories
Yeah.
in ways that reflect his like inner self,
Yeah.
which is cool.
And I don't know. I picked that up on the rewatch, and I was just like, oh man, like it's really interesting watching it back and then being like, he's literally going to write a story about what he's currently feeling right now. And then he even confesses it later in the movie to Celine. I also really, really like how they introduce Celine. Like it feels very like it's not like this big thing.
Like
Like she just appears.
Yeah, she's just there like watching him talk, right?
Yeah, and it's not like this like slow-mo like run to him, like it's just she's there. That's it, and it's very real. Like none of that stuff would ever actually happen in real life, but I love her just kind of popping up and seeing him, and then he's catches his eye, and he kind of looks at her and he's just like
Yeah.
yeah,
And
and
he
like
wasn't
he's like,
expecting it.
yeah.
And he even admits to her like, I when I saw you, I was about to lose my head. Like I was trying to hold it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cute to see there.
Yeah, but you can. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that stuff up. So.
Again, it's real, which I appreciate. But they decide to go to a cafe, but they have to walk there. And the only other character that's named is Philippe, right?
Yeah, the driver.
The driver, which he is going to be a crucial part later on. But so, how much time takes place from when they meet to when they leave, or to the end? It's like it feels like maybe
I believe like
The 2 hours.
I believe it's an hour.
Is
like
it that?
So I'll get into a fact here real quick about the production of this film, because Richard Linklater is a stickler on time in his movies.
He wanted it to be like that.
He wanted it to feel the movie like it took place in real time.
Oh.
So like the production of this movie they shot this whole film in 15 days.
Yeah, I saw that. It's crazy.
Yeah. And that's the thing about this movie, like it all takes place like in an afternoon. So, with that being said, imagine, one day being like, okay, we got to, film 6 pages of dialogue from this script. And at the point of the script that we're in right now, it has to be 12 o'clock. Or it has to be 12:15. Like, it has to look like that outside.
Yeah.
So,
you don't have much time for error.
Yeah, we don't have much time for error at all. So, everyone's got to be on it to, get the perfect take, hopefully once. We can't do multiple takes, because then if we don't finish these 6 pages of script within this day, we're behind schedule.
Yep.
And we gotta make up for it some other time.
Well, they had 9 years to practice.
I was about to say, maybe they gave him the script right after this movie. They're like, all right, you got 9 years to memorize this.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I wonder if it kind of sprung up like that. Like they had, maybe Richard, right?
Yeah,
Richard,
yeah.
the director. If he had known that he wanted to do 3, like just off the rip, Because I was listening to an interview with Ethan Hawke, and he said, I didn't know it was going to be a trilogy until the third one was over.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I don't. It would be interesting to see, where that idea came place. But my favorite scene, it takes place whenever they start walking, and they are talking about the 6 months
Yes.
They were talked about it, and she asks him, did you go? No, I think he asks her. I don't remember exactly how. It pops up.
She goes, I have to know. Like, it's gonna bother me if I don't know.
Yeah, did you
She
show
goes,
up?
did you show up? And at first he goes, well, did you show up? And she
Yeah.
goes, and she straight up says no. And
But she had a good reason.
Her reason is very valid.
It is.
Her reason is very valid. And then he says no.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he only does that to like spare her feelings.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, and I actually was like, there's no way they didn't. No, I was like, there's no way nobody showed up. I was like, there can't be.
They got caught up in life.
Yeah.
I believed him when he said no.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, okay, good. Like, you don't hate me. You must have hated me waiting. And okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay, good. And then he goes on to talk about it, and he makes kind of like a big deal about it. She goes, well, why do you care? You weren't even there.
Yeah,
And
she
then
says,
she
wait a
looks
minute,
at him?
like, she says, like, why does it matter? Why didn't you show up? You didn't even tell me why.
Yeah, and then he was looking at her, and he doesn't even have to say a word.
Yeah.
And she goes,
You
no,
did.
You did show up.
And she's like, you probably hate me. It's been 6. Like, you wouldn't. I wasn't there. And
Yeah.
it
And
was
it-
just.
Oh, and then he even goes to
It's
say,
rough.
yeah, my dad loaned me. I owe my
Like-
dad $2,000.
Yeah.
Like this and this and that. And she immediately felt so bad.
Yeah.
But I was like,
Dude, it kind of made me bad too because he explains like, yeah, I got here and I waited, and then I left my phone number and I left where I was at the hotel, and
Yeah.
I waited for a couple weeks, and I was
she
like,
goes
dude,
to say,
Yeah.
did you get any hits?
yeah,
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, I got like a couple people, trying to come to the bedroom to get a gig. and
well,
all this
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. Isn't that when he say? That's when he says, yeah, that's what the book was about.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, and it's just funny to see their banter back and forth, and it's more of not like a cute relationship anymore. It's like they can poke fun at each other,
Yeah.
and them not getting super mad about it.
Yeah.
Especially when she goes the tell
Oh,
me
yeah.
when,
Tell me when to stop.
tell me
Yeah.
when. Like they can have that jovial relationship now because they have had that much time, and it's they have a deeper connection than just like.
I met you that one time.
Yeah,
You know.
it's more of like they can jab at each other and be fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also really love this scene too. It's another one of my favorites. I just love how, like, as soon as they start talking to one another, it feels like 9 years didn't happen.
Yeah.
It
truly doesn't.
It feels like they have been in contact with one another, and it's just like, oh man, it's been so good. Like I haven't seen you in so long. Like, what are you doing?
It feels like I
it's
hate
great.
to say it like this, but it feels like when you like say your best friend moves away, and like you reconnect,
Yeah.
like you know everything about
Oh, yeah.
that person,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and that's what this relationship kind of made me feel like.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree. I also really love in that scene whenever they go on to talk about the book, and Celine starts to say like, I think you kind of like idealized the
Oh,
night
yeah.
a little bit and all this stuff.
And it's funny that we
She
get later
thinks
on that
that.
she had done like she idolized it
Yeah.
for herself.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's trying to like play it off as like, oh, it wasn't that much to me, and then we get the
Yeah.
song at the end. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
why are you putting up this front for him?
Yeah.
Trying to act all strong and like you don't care about him, but you both are madly in love with each other.
Yes. Yeah, and I love whenever they're, talking about the book a little bit, and then he says like, I think she brings up like in the book, like, do the people in the book like meet later in life or something like
He
that?
said that he wrote
And he says he wrote the alternate ending.
Dude, the alternate ending's kind of wild.
Yeah, and it's
really
very wild. And that's why I thought it was super funny, and it's like another one of like why I lump it in, because he just brings it up like it's nothing. And he's just like, oh yeah, they meet and they go to a hotel room for like 10 days and they kind of,
They
do it,
They have intense
violently for like 10 days straight. Like, and it's just like, I couldn't imagine like saying that to someone, like it's kind of
Yeah.
wild, especially when it's written about them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but it's super funny, and that's another one of the reasons why I like this movie a lot more. Is this one is much more funny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I felt myself laughing at this one more than the first one.
I did too. Yeah.
But
I'm telling you, the jabs that they have back and forth, and the way he's able to bring back his past, and
Yeah.
like not be so harsh on her about it, on his self. Like even when they're walking and they're talking, and he says like, "Oh, sing me a song," and she goes, "No, I'm not gonna sing it. Not until I have a guitar." And he goes, "Oh well," like he says, "Okay, well I'll come back here in 6 months with your guitar." Like he plays with it, you know what I mean? And that's what was making me laugh the whole time. But
Yeah.
I even like it too. They get to the cafe finally,
Mm-hmm.
and you know they're just talking about life. They're talking about her and what she's been doing and how she's an environmentalist and how she goes to I can't remember the country she went to.
I
I forget.
India, right?
It was
I
some
don't know. I just knew it was under communist rule.
yeah.
Oh,
At the
okay.
time.
The other, yeah, I'm not sure
I
which
forget
one.
exactly.
And she's kind of like sharing her passion and what she's been doing, and you know explaining to him like, I was so sick of seeing this world suck, and I wanted to do something that could actually fix it. And you know he's admiring her, and I love it too. Whenever they start talking about like, oh well, do we look different? And of course, you know he says, well, your hair's up, put it down. And she puts it down, and he says, and she goes, well, and he goes, I don't know, I'd have to see you naked.
And then she's like, "Oh, what do you mean?"
Yeah.
You know, it's super funny.
And it's a lot more vulgar too. They talk a lot more about
Yeah.
like being together and these very charged, you know, things.
Yeah. And
together.
I think it's that's done because the first movie, they didn't really talk about any of that stuff. It just kind of happened.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so it's been 9 years
Yeah.
for these people to just continue to think about that night. So I can only imagine there are
Just the thoughts to go into their head.
many thoughts
Oh,
and many unanswered questions.
Oh yeah.
Like that these two have for each other.
They have
So,
a very intense longing
Yeah.
for that what happened at the park, which
yeah.
I told you, AB. I freaking told you.
What didn't I say? Did I say that they didn't? Or what did I say?
I theorized that they
don't know.
did it.
I think we all theorized.
Did we?
Yeah, I think we did.
Because we're like,
Okay.
how could you not?
Yeah, that's true. But that leads to one of my favorite scenes when they're walking through that garden area, and
The conversations they have in that garden area.
Yeah, beautiful.
it's so beautiful. And they talk about, you know, well, what happened that night, and he's like, you don't remember? I was
Oh
that
my
yeah,
God.
I was that forgettable
that
to
was
you?
a bra moment for me.
I-
Whenever
it-
she's like, "We didn't do that."
Yeah.
He's all, "Are you serious? It's kind of freaking me out that you don't remember this."
Yeah, he's like, I remember no, what did he say? He says,
He's like,
I remember
the
that.
brand of protection that we use.
No, he even says,
And she even says that's disturbing. It's
Yeah.
it's so funny though.
it's funny, it really is. But they talk about, or he says, I remember that night more than I remember some years.
Yeah.
So it's that love that he has for her. But you know, they start talking, and I can't remember why they do it. But he's like, like they go by the park bench. And he's
Oh
like-
no, she says.
If
She
tonight
like,
was
if
the last,
yeah, if the world was gonna end, like,
and we were the
Oh
only
yeah,
two
he's
dying.
like, he's like apocalyptic, and she goes, no, that's too dramatic.
yeah, and he's like, you know, like
Just
we're
us two dying.
Yeah, like we're just gonna die, and like, you know, what will we talk about? Would we continue to talk about
Oh,
our
yeah.
jobs and
Yeah.
all this stuff? And he was like, well, no, I sadly wouldn't want to talk about our jobs or, you know, what we
This
did. in the past,
environmentalistic
but, you know,
thing.
I wouldn't want to do any of that. I would probably want to go to a hotel room and do this and all that. And she was just kind of like, oh, well, why do you have to be a hotel room if it's the end of the world? Why not just that bench?
And he
And
like
he just goes, whoa,
and
and
he
like launches her to the bench.
yeah.
And she's like, okay, we're not dying.
Yeah,
And he's
we're-
all, okay, all right.
It was funny though.
This scene also is a scene where like my heart starts to melt
Yeah.
because they're talking. Oh, and I'm trying to. I think she's talking about her boyfriend, right?
Well, no, all of the scenes that we had no context to their relationships that they've had prior to them meeting again. We have no idea if they have a boyfriend, a wife,
No,
kids, anything
It doesn't
like
get
that.
introduced until we get on the boat.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
shoot.
Yeah.
So then, what are they talking about here? Because this is where she starts to like. No, this is where he is. Never mind. I'm thinking about two different spots. My bad.
Okay.
Lost my train of thought.
But yeah, I'm actually glad you brought that up because all of these scenes are like building us up that they're gonna finally reconnect and just have this intimate kiss with each other or something.
Yeah,
right?
something's going to happen.
Well, and this is actually okay. I remember where I was going. I'm so dumb.
Oh, I'm glad.
This is the part where I wanted to bring up too because he tries again, like he's gonna kiss her, he's gonna do this, but he doesn't want to
Mhm.
because he has no knowledge of where she's at in her life.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, come on. They're like, he puts his arm around her like a gentleman would, scoots even closer to her, like,
Mhm.
oh my
Mhm.
gosh, like again, I'm just like, come on, just do it again, just like the last movie. I'm like, do it,
Mhm.
because that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't get that.
Nope. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
And it hurts.
I really want to take a moment to highlight the dialogue in the cafe scene.
Oh, okay.
Dude, the dialogue in that cafe scene feels so real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it feels like these people truly are reconnecting for the first time, and they're just kind of like, well, you know, what have you been doing? What would you do? Blah, blah, blah. Like, they're just, you know, bouncing questions off one another. I really love how Jesse can't stop thinking about the night and that they spent together, and it was just like, can you believe it was 9 years
ago.
since Vienna? She's like, wow, really? And he's all, yeah, like it's felt like it was 2 months ago to me, but yeah, it was summer of '94. And like, you can tell, like, he is just that thought has never left his mind. He has truly never stopped thinking about Celine. I also really love the story of Celine talking about when she lived in New York.
The policewoman with the gun, right?
Yeah, we didn't even bring up whenever she reveals
that
she
in
was
New
living
York?
in New York the same time as Jesse.
That breaks my
It
heart.
broke
dude.
my heart, dude.
It's a bro moment of mine for sure.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
huge bro moment. I remember watching that for the first time, and she was like, yeah, I kind of miss living in the States. And he's all, what, you used to live in the States? When? She's all, oh yeah, like
98
I lived in
or-
like New York in like 97, 98. And Jesse's just like, oh,
He's
don't
in-
tell
he's in
me
like-
that,
yeah, yeah.
dude. Don't tell me that,
Well,
Celine.
she studied, right? She went to NYU or something like that.
Yeah, she was a student.
Yeah.
And he was like, he lived in Dallas and then moved there because he wanted to experience New York.
Yeah. And he's like,
In
don't tell me that.
agony,
Like,
dude.
He's like, dude, we
"Oh."
could have like potentially been near each other.
yeah.
And then she
And-
goes to say, and I kind of wish I ran into you.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have.
Yeah.
for sure. And they probably did at some point. They just
No,
didn't
there's
even
no
know
way.
it.
Well, there's a piece of dialogue later in the movie that
Yeah.
says that he's like, I swear, like on the like weeks leading up to my wedding, I swore I had saw you. I couldn't stop thinking about you, and I swore I saw you walk into this shop on 13th and Broadway.
And then she
And
goes,
she
to
goes,
say,
I lived on 11th and Broadway.
Yeah.
And he's like, you see what
Bro,
I'm saying?
like-
Like, dude.
that
oh,
hurt me.
man.
When I heard 11th and Broadway, when she said that hurt me. Because I
Yeah.
was just like, it was on the way to his wedding
Yeah.
that he saw her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Pure agony.
It's like, dude,
That
are you joking
hurt
me?
me.
Even whenever he, hears how her relationship is and how she's truly feeling in it, not just the front she puts up, but what she's truly feeling and how, she gets in that big long monologue of how
Yeah.
the night
On the boat.
of how her like romantic side got taken away from her.
Yeah.
And then he looks at her and he's like, why didn't you come?
Yeah.
He's like, our lives would be so much different right now if
Yeah.
you would just come.
yeah.
And that he's just like, we would have been so good together. We would have had such a loving relationship together. And
Yeah.
it's really heartbreaking just to see all of these scenes where he's like, he had tried so hard and he wanted to be with her so bad,
Yeah.
but life didn't go
Life
the way.
just got in the way.
Yeah, life got in the way, and it's truly heartbreaking. And I even like in this scene, I'm glad you brought it back to the dialogue. She in this is talking about stuff that we had previously heard in the other movie, but the complete opposite of what she believes now.
Yeah. Yeah. Throughout the entirety of this movie, we recognize that the characters that we've grown to love in the first movie have had major shifts.
And
Their characterizations. Like, Jesse is a full-blown romantic now, has no cynicism or skepticism in his body at all. Whereas the first one, he was skeptical of everything. The poet, the palm reader, like all this stuff. Like, he had very strong doubts about things.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because of Celine that he became such a, full-blown romantic.
Mm-hmm.
And then we come to find out that Celine, in efforts, to try to forget Jesse, has become a full-blown cynic and lost all of the romanticism that she had in the first movie. Like, she's been played so many times by previous boyfriends and previous partners that, she no longer could find someone that was as romantic or that she loved as much as Jesse.
Yeah.
And that caused her romanticism to, like, die.
Yeah. It's crazy how much impact one night made for both of them in their lives.
Yeah.
Not even, I don't know if you have any other favorite scenes, but my next one is them getting onto the boat.
Yeah, that's my next one, too.
Okay. Well, so he eventually gets a call and, he has to go back to the airport and wait for 2 hours So she's like, okay, we gotta go. And he goes, well, he gives the Philip a call, and they find, like, I love it too because it's that spontaneity that comes back in their relationship. And in this movie so far, it's just been them talking. You know how in the first one we got like scenes of Vienna and the people in Vienna.
Yeah.
There's no time for that. It's just them solely talking.
It's just they're walking.
Yeah, it's strictly on them two. So this is one of the times where he's like, he sees the boat and she goes, no, I'm not getting on that. That's for tourists. And he goes, come on.
Yeah.
And he eventually gets her on, and at first she's like, whatever. But then she thanks him later on, and this is the scene. What's their dialogue here?
They this is where, so at this moment,
This is where he wishes they seen each other in 6 months.
Yeah, around this time. And then she also has the monologue about, she can never really replace anyone, and that everyone she's been with, she remembers these like certain little details.
So she remembers like the red in his beard.
Yeah.
Which that's so cute.
Yeah.
I hate to say it like that, but it's so cute because she's like, that's what I missed. The sun would shine on your little red beard and it would just shine.
Yeah.
And it's so cute to hear that from her.
Yeah.
And this is kind of where he starts talking about his wife and his kid.
Yeah.
Which, that's a big shocker.
Another bro moment. Before they even get on the boat, they reveal like, oh yeah, I'm married. She said, she brings it up actually. She says, I read in the article that you're married with a kid.
Oh, yes.
And he's like, oh yeah, I'm married. I got a kid. His name's Henry. Little Hank.
Yeah, up to this point, he's trying to get with her, like, it seems like.
Not talking about it at all.
No, and they deliberately hid their relationships, I feel like, until they couldn't anymore.
Yeah. And then, that intern asks the question, like, are you dating anyone? She's like, yeah, I'm dating some photojournalist.
Mm-hmm.
He's, like, never really around. So it's kind of nice because I get to spend time alone.
Yeah.
All this stuff.
It's funny that their relationships kind of reflect their internal struggle, you know what I mean? Where, is this the scene where he kind of describes his struggle in his marriage?
Yes. Yeah, where he talks about like,
Gosh, dude, that
like it's hard to or no. He doesn't describe the struggle. He describes how it happened. He talks about like, well, like we dated off and on for a couple of years and then slowly found out that she was pregnant. So obviously pregnancy meant marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've been married for a couple of years and, I would do anything for Hank. Like he's my rock. Like I love that kid. And that's when Celine starts to talk about her past relationships and all that stuff.
Okay.
It's not until we get into the car where we recognize the struggles.
Okay. But yeah, just the boat scene, I appreciated them talking to each other like that.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful scene.
Mm-hmm.
I also I really love whenever Celine's talking about her past relationships and how she's been hurt and stuff. Like there are these looks that Jesse gives her that are so intentional, and you can really tell he's listening.
Mm-hmm.
And there are certain looks that he gives her where it's just like, man, like you can tell this guy
Loves her.
Like with everything. Like he truly is just like nothing else exists on this boat right now except you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm solely listening to you and you only. And it's a beautiful thing, and it's a great acting from both Ethan and Julie.
Mm-hmm.
But the next favorite scene that I've got is the car ride.
Oh yeah. This is like right after they get off the boat, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And is this
is my first one, which I hate to say. This movie, I feel like I tie every scene together because it's all dialogue, and you're just learning so much again about these characters.
Yeah. Mm.
So it's hard for me to like pick an actual scene.
Mm-hmm.
But I chose this car scene because this scene for me, Ethan. Jesse gets super real, and tells her about his dreams, and tells her all the struggles of his marriage. And this is where I also wanted to bring up is in the first movie we see how much Jesse wanted to hold Celine. I don't know why I'm blanking. Celine, and like just show him affection. And well, this one Celine tries to do that so much because he's describing his dreams, and you can see her reach her hand like and then pull it back like she's holding back.
Mm-hmm.
And to me it was just such a real scene, and I was hurting for Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it was intentional though, but whenever he talks about like, there's that one specific dream where he wakes up beside Celine and she's like naked but pregnant, and he touches her but she says not to, and he does anyways, and he wakes up and he's sobbing next to his wife, and you can kind of hear his voice kind of like
Crack.
like
Yeah.
crack and tremble a little bit, and I don't know if it's intentional, but it seemed like true pain was coming out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And not only does it happen to him, but it happens to her as well.
Yeah.
Like when she starts to blow up, dude.
Yeah.
She's getting teary-eyed.
Yeah.
She has
Yeah.
like these pure emotions that have been probably buried for so long.
Yeah, I mean, Celine reveals like, the reason that her past relationships have never worked was, because all the guys that she dated, taught. She says that they taught. Or
She taught them how to love.
Yeah, she taught them how to love. Exactly.
How
To love and respect a woman.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, I'm one of those guys.
Yeah, and she was like, yeah, they would go on to get married, and I would get that made me mad because like, why would they never ask me to marry them? Why did I have to teach them how to love, and then they got to be happy later on while I'm stuck in the dirt?
It was also a bro moment because she goes, I would still say no, but why wouldn't they ask me?
Yeah,
And I think it's funny that she says that because
You
I think
she
the
was
only
waiting for
person
him?
especially because she goes on to say, like I even like at the beginning of a relationship, I just wouldn't try because I knew it's not the one.
yeah.
I knew it wasn't going to be right.
Mhm.
So to hear her say that she would say no, I think it's because she truly knew that that Jesse was her
Yeah.
Was
person.
the one.
I love this. She says something too there. She was like, "What is this like concept of like, oh, you have to only have one person in life to like truly be happy?"
Yeah, she's like, it's evil.
Yeah, and she's like, "It's evil. Like it makes no sense."
And I think
But in all, she says that and like is fully denying the fact that what she's saying is somewhat true.
yeah.
Like Jesse is the man that truly does make her happy, and she's tried with all these other people, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's cynical because she hasn't had this that she's wanted for so long. So she ends up saying like, I'm being punished, basically,
Yeah.
for 9 years because I haven't had this other person.
Yeah.
And now that that he's there, she's finally able to be like, and then that's when even she goes like, stop the cab, like I need to get out of
She
here.
was like, I need to get out. I
Don't
need to
touch
get away
me.
from you. Don't touch me. Don't
Yeah,
do
'cause-
anything to me.
Because
And-
seeing him is like her way of, like she's not able to hide her emotions
yeah.
anymore,
It's gonna
right?
sound so cheesy, but seeing him as her kryptonite.
yeah.
I knew you
I would
guys.
start singing that song.
Kryptonite. Dude,
But-
no,
but,
like
like-
she gets to fully take the mask off.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Corniness aside,
Exactly.
it's true.
But that's why I said it's gonna sound dumb, but it's true. And like he is the one, and I at this point that's what I believe.
Oh yeah.
He's the one. There's no other person for Celine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the car scene is intense, and the tension in that entire scene can be cut like with a dull butter knife, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It is just there's so much tension, and like you can see the tension in both the actors, and they're just kind of like, I don't want to say the wrong thing
Mhm.
to make this person mad at me. I really love that Jesse dives in and is like, you don't think like that I've had my problems too, like, and then he goes into his dreams and says like, I wake up in the sweats, like in one of them, because in one of my dreams, you're on this train and
Just
I'm
go
at the
by
station
and
and you go by and you go by and you go by and you go by and you never get off, and I wake up in the sweats.
Yeah.
Like and I have my wife looking at me wondering what's wrong, and I can't tell her.
He says that he feels like a million miles away.
Yeah.
And
It's-
he even says like, I want her to have the best in life,
yeah,
but
but I know
when
that
I
that's
look-
not with me.
yeah, when I look at her, it's something feels wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like he has this very long longing for Celine. And he even goes on to say like, I was with her. Yeah, I love what he talks about. Like he says, I thought the who didn't matter. It was just the choice, the commitment
Yeah.
to love. And in some sense, the commitment is what holds people together. If you had no commitment, why stay,
Yeah.
Because love he comes and goes and all that stuff. It's life.
Mhm.
And he thought that, the commitment would be enough. And when he sees Celine, he knows something's wrong. It's her that I really want.
Yeah.
And it was just a beautiful quote, and to see that deeper side of him.
Yeah.
But
But it's after that Celine gets dropped off at her house, and that's my last favorite scene.
Yeah, that whole scene.
the whole sequence from whenever she gets dropped off to when they walk up and then they're in the house.
I wanted to talk to you guys about the stairs.
Okay. The like long shot where they
I
just don't
wanted them.
say anything.
I want to know what you wanted, because what I wanted was I wanted him just to stop her and kiss her in the middle of the stairs.
No, well,
Not like in an inappropriate way.
Kiss her already.
But like in the romantic way where they're like finally they're alone, they're not in a public spot. Like he just looks at her and they look at each other and then they kiss.
I appreciated the tension there. I think about the scene in the first one when they're at the record player and we get that
long,
unspoken tension between each other, that long just stealing glances.
Yes.
It's that same
And they
exact
both-
feeling.
Oh.
9 years later,
Yeah,
walking up these creaky steps.
Yeah, and the entire time you're like, dude, like,
You could feel
what's gonna happen?
You could
That's what I'm
feel
saying.
it. You
That's
could
what I'm saying.
You could feel it because they're walking up to her apartment. Like it's the easiest time to
be alone.
be alone, be
Yeah.
together, to finally unleash whatever,
Yeah.
like he wants to do that 10 minutes in the 10 days in the hotel, whatever.
Yeah.
But you truly can feel this like growing tension, and every step they take, dude, the tension is like, it feels like it's pulling me apart because I'm like, oh, dude. It was a more successful record player scene, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good scene.
I enjoyed it
such a good
so
scene.
much.
Yeah, I love the scene whenever they get out and when they get out of the cab or the drive. Whatever
Felipe's
Felipe's
Talking
driving.
about her cat.
Yeah, and she's talking about her cat, but then she also talks about like she references another line that Jesse said on the boat, where he said, "I feel like if someone were to touch me, I would dissolve into molecules."
Oh, when she hugged him?
Yeah, and so whenever they get out and she's like, "Wait a minute, I want to try something," and she hugs him, and they share this really intimate hug with one another, and she's all, "I want to see if you stay together or if you dissolve into molecules," and he's responds with, "Well, how am I doing?" And she says, "Oh, you're still here." And he says, "Good, I like being here."
Oh.
And that dude, that
Give
right
me
there,
chills.
that right there was what made me start tearing up and like having tears fall, because I was just like, that's so sweet. Dude, it's beautiful dialogue and beautiful callbacks as well. I also love Jesse continuing to convince Celine, like, "Oh, well, let me walk you up."
Dude, he's
Oh,
so
you-
desperate
Yeah.
to spend time with her. He's like, "Oh, 2 hours to sit there all alone." And
Yeah.
I'm just going to read a newspaper.
Well, he even thinks he brings back a similar, like, being haunted. He's like, "I'm going to hate myself if I don't go up there and listen to your song."
Yeah.
So he's bringing back that same old thing how he did last time. But
Mm-hmm.
every second of the way, he's like, no, keep going. Don't stop for her. Keep going. I'm going to
Yeah.
drive you here. Oh, come on, let's just... Like, he's
Yeah.
desperately holding on to the minutes that he has with
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love about this as well, is you can see Jesse's intensity
Mm-hmm.
for her and how he just doesn't want it to end. And it really shines through here, because the entire time he's been like, "Oh, well, you said you can get off the metro, but we can drive you home. Like, it's fine." And then whenever he gets out and they give him a hug, they think they're gonna part, and then he's like, "Oh, this is your place? Oh, why don't you show me your place? Come on, show me your place."
He goes,
And
"Let
then-
me walk you to the
Yeah,
door."
well, I'll walk you to the door. And then they walks to the door, and she's like, "Okay, well." He's like, "Oh, you said you're gonna show me a song. Well, show me a song. Come on, play me one song. I'm gonna sit there."
See,
He's smart.
Yeah, and then as soon as they play the one song, he's like, "Oh, come on, one more. Come on."
See, yeah, it
Like,
sounds like he's desperate, but it comes off as endearing. It comes
Yeah.
off as like this very natural progression for their relationship. It's not
Yeah.
like, it doesn't seem like she really truly doesn't want him around. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like this mutual kind of like,
And she's just like,
yeah,
she's also just trying to get him because he has a deadline. He's supposed to fly back to New York. They want him there to be a certain time. So she's like being considerate of him and what he has to do. But like you guys said, he just wants to be with her.
yeah,
And that's all he wants. He doesn't have
doesn't
any
even
other care.
He doesn't even care.
It's just her.
yeah. We got to talk about the song.
Oh,
Dude.
this
of
is the part
course.
where I cried, honestly.
This is the
because-
part where I start tearing up.
Yeah, I cried watching, like I said in the earlier in the episode, I cried watching Ethan Hawke's reactions.
Him makes me tear up.
Yeah,
It's funny because she goes, "All right, what do you want to hear? I got 3 songs in English.
Yeah,
What's
she's
about my
all-
ex, my ex, and my cat?"
yeah. And she's like, and then I have a little waltz, and he's like, "Well, let's hear the waltz."
Dude, and I was talking to Lisa. I was like, "Dude, what if he chose a different song?"
Yeah, what if he chose the cat?
What if it chose like the XX?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
What if
It's a dangerous gambit right there, but
Yep.
he picks the
he
right.
picks the right one?
And just, dude, the song.
It's such a beautiful, intimate moment between the two.
The lyric that I loved the most actually was when she goes, "A day with him can feel like 1,000 days with a different person." And I was just like,
Yeah.
and that's when I knew she was talking about him, because at that point she doesn't say Jesse.
Yeah. And then she
like catches herself
yeah,
on.
she even goes on and like there's a part where it looks like she kind of like zones out and kind of like truly feels the lyrics, where she says like, I'd give this person my heart, and like if I didn't, like if I give it to anybody else, I think I would die.
Yeah.
And like she like kind of like almost shuts down when she's singing that part, and like you can tell she's truly feeling those lyrics. Like it makes me even question if she wrote those, or if she's just like, you know,
off the dome,
off the rip, just like kind of like just like, you know, spilling her heart out.
Dude, if she could do that, that's just,
she's an artist for sure.
Oh
Yeah. I love it. I love that entire song sequence.
yeah. And it highlights, you know, the whole time we've been talking about her kind of putting up this weird front in front of him, and this is her literally just breaking down and telling her exactly how she felt about that night, exactly how she was the one who over romanticized it, of her, exactly how she felt, right? And that's why I started crying, because the lyrics are like, for you it was just one night, but for me it meant so much more.
Yeah.
And it's just, it was awesome. And it reminded me again of the scene where they're, you know, on the phone with each other, of them just being completely transparent with each other. And she had like no shame either. Usually when you're like showing someone your talents and showing someone your music especially, is like, no, like,
Yeah.
and you get a little shy, but it feels like she's been waiting
For that moment.
Yeah. And it kind of, you know how he talks about like, I think I wrote this book so I could find you later on. And it really made me think of like,
he says something too to the effect like before that, where he says you want to know the real reason why I wrote that book? I wrote it hoping that I could go on a tour in Paris, and then you would show up and I could ask you like, where the heck were you?
yeah.
And then she's like, no, you didn't. And
You're
he's
just
like,
saying that to be sweet.
And he's like, no, I think like in a very real way, I think I did. And you can tell he meant it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
100%.
Oh yeah. It's like his way of like therapy through that incident. But it reminded me of, you know, I feel like she made this song just so one day she could sit and play it for him.
Yeah.
I was like, this is such a beautiful chemistry, man. I love it, dude.
I love it.
I love it too. I love afterwards whenever, you know, Ethan Hawke puts on that Nina Simone song.
Yeah.
That sparks conversation, and you know,
she starts to mimic
she starts
her.
to kind of like impersonate her, and she's like, oh, I saw her in concert before she passed away. She was so cute. You know, she used to, you know, play the piano a little bit, and then, you know, look off in the crowd and be like, oh yeah, baby, oh yeah, you do that, and like, you know, impersonate the singer that she's talking about. And that leads us to like the end of the
where
film,
he's just watching
which
her.
is what I love. I love the ending to this film.
Oh yeah.
Like it's the perfect ending to this film. And you know, she continues doing her little impersonation and kind of looks at him and says, babe, you're gonna miss that plane. And Ethan kind of just looks at her and says, I know.
And then it freaking ends.
And then it ends.
It fades out. And
dude, I was watching
it. Goosebumps under this. You can't see it,
dude.
I was watching it, and literally, I yelled, "What?" and immediately ran again, and I said, "This ending, dude! I said I have to watch the next one. I have to."
I loved it. When I first watched this film, I don't think you understand the biggest grin I had on my face. I had this cheeser from ear to ear.
Yeah.
I was just like, I loved that, dude.
I
That
think-
was
was
the
it last
freaking
night?
greatest ending.
Because it's ambiguous, but it's not.
Yeah,
It's not.
It's perfect.
Just
It's
the
perfect.
The very
ending.
subtle. I know. You know that he's gonna stay. And you know, he's gonna miss his flight or whatever he's got to do to be with her.
I loved it. It's the perfect ending for me,
So
man.
the other night when we were on that group FaceTime us three, you guys were talking about the movie. I had yet to see the movie.
I know. You
guys were talking about
it.
it.
Yeah.
Nick says, "Baby, you're gonna miss that plane," and I said, "Oh, you guys just ruined the movie for me. They're gonna split ways." And then I heard that, and it just cuts out. I said, "No freaking way!
Yeah.
This is the way it ends." And I feel like that's when it would have gotten more intense. Does that make sense? Because I was hooked,
dude. That movie could have won. That
That's
specific film could
that-
have went on for another 2 hours.
That's what I
exactly.
said,
You
yeah.
said this movie could have gone for another hour, and I've been okay with
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
Because, bruh, you don't end a movie like that.
No, I honestly I loved
Like,
the ending,
not in
but
a bad-
I was pissed. I was pissed. 'Cause I was like, no. I want to see more. You know, I want to see them talk more. Like,
Yeah.
I need more of this.
Yeah.
I hate it because. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it's fine.
I was talking to Lisa and I explained it like, I feel like it's a trilogy, correct? But each one feels like its own little universe of like,
Yes.
these characters are this age and they think this way at this moment in this movie. And, you know, the first one was great. The second one was great. And I didn't want to leave this universe of them being 32, them being like tension and love together. And now we don't have that. And I know it's going to be completely different 9 years later.
Yeah.
I know it is. And
Yeah.
it sucks. And it made me pissed because I wanted to see more of,
I
of
want.
them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I don't care. Like, they could have just skipped the intimate scene and then just talked more.
Yeah.
I would have been like, all right, I'm here. I'd be like, all right,
I'm invested in the relationship.
I'm down.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I could have done the same.
I was texting someone about this movie, and I said, dude, I'm mad the way it ended, but I really want to watch the next one already. Like, I need
this
to.
made me bring up the question to Abe too. When this movie came out in 2004,
Dude,
could you imagine if you had watched the first one and then be like, oh, they're making a second one? Oh, dude, I want to go see that in theaters. I love that first one. Let's see it. And then watching the second one and it ending like that, and then you being like, that's it,
dude, I would
like
That's
that's
what I'm
it.
saying.
I gotta wait another 9,
yeah, you're hanging off the cliff, dude.
That's a big claim.
and they leave you
Dude,
there.
They let
the
you
same-
fall,
Yeah,
bro.
dude,
9
yeah,
years.
like, dude.
You can't hold on
Like,
for 9 years.
dude, oh man, like I don't know how old I was when it was 2004.
Yeah, 2004.
I was 4 years old.
I don't know. Maybe I was.
We have the
like
greatest
6.
luxury
Yeah.
of having all three of them together.
I couldn't imagine
I
leaving the
can't.
theater and being like, "What is gonna happen in the
I
next
literally-
one? Are they even gonna make another one?"
Exactly.
Like we don't even know.
I told, I said, can we watch the third one tonight? And he goes, no, you got to wait a week. And I said, I don't want to wait a week.
And that's what happened whenever I had watched the second one, because so when I watched the first one, I told you guys immediately, I was like, I gotta watch the second one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I watched the second one, and when it ended that way, it was 12, and I had something to do the next day, and I was like, I gotta watch the third one now, dude. And I unfortunately I couldn't. I had to wait, a couple days, and then when I watched the third one, I was just like, dude, this is great. I
I'm
love
actually
this trilogy,
so-
man. It's great. So I know, and I'm loving that you guys are loving it,
Yeah.
because I was really hoping you guys would, and I didn't want to hype it up too much to the point where like it would be like, oh, you overhyped it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But I'm really enjoying that you guys liked it.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll definitely dive into more of like all of the things that worked. 'Cause
Yeah.
I have a lot more about the characters, which I didn't think I would because they're the same characters, but they're so different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Well,
I'm excited for that.
Well, let's get into the next category then.
Yeah.
Move into-